Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Infian Ewok and with me today is the one and only Matty B, and we are bringing you day 12 of the Southeast Asian Pro League.
What is up, my friends? I'm happy to be here, Infian. Really cool matchup tonight. I mean, of course, there's not a lot going on for both of these teams, missing out on finals and all the other messes we've had so far in Southeast Asia, but still, a fun matchup nonetheless. MBT Impetus up against Ferox.
Yes, only one matchup tonight. MBT Impetus Gaming from Malaysia, and Ferox Esports, the majority of them from Indonesia. Two of them Singaporeans there, so pretty diverse lineup. And this match is really one more for the future, isn't it? Because Season 9's pretty much done for these guys.
Oh, it's definitely done now. Ferox were a shake last week, and then of course we had that incredible series versus Generic.
Oh my God.
That had me going for a very long time that night. I couldn't get to sleep afterwards. It just got me excited. So Ferox missed their opportunity at finals, unfortunately. Like, they were still a mathematical chance, they needed results to go their way. And on the other side of the coin, Impetus, who, as we briefly talked about before we came live on stream, how they're in sort of that rebuilding phase where they were a good team. Now they're starting to get backing from an organization and more experience for themselves.
Yeah, indeed. It's really good that Southeast Asia is kind of getting off the ground, and MBT, well, they have already participated in one LAN. It was a Cooler Master LAN event in Malaysia, but they couldn't make it to the second one. That's gonna happen this next weekend. Actually, it's called the Wrecked Nation LAN, and believe it or not, they were kicked out by this B team of Generic Esports. And now, okay, B team is kind of a misnomer because this B team is only B because they're not all over 18. So, who knows? Maybe when they turn 18, they're gonna be replacing the A team.
Could be a massive cause too. I mean, young players coming through. There's always fresh talent in the scene. No matter where you look, you just have to go digging for it. So that's a potential storyline in the future for us.
Yeah, but honestly, nevertheless, Ferox losing like that to Generic, they lost the second map. They drew the first map. Even that was very, very surprising. I did not expect that.
Yeah, honestly, when I sat down for the game, I honestly expected it was going to be a 2-0 going in favor of Ferox. They were going to kick themselves right into contention for finals if results went their way. And then, honestly, I think the player break did a team like Generic massive justice. They had time to go back and practice and refine their team play, because the way that they played was totally different to what we've seen for the rest of this season. Like, they got their first points for the season, they got their first map win, and the level of team play and cohesion we saw from them was something that we hadn't seen so far this year.
Indeed. Now, today's matchup, we're going to have two great maps. First map, it is going to be Oregon. Whether you are bored and call it Boregon, it's still a fun map. We haven't seen too much of it from Southeast Asia. We used to like it a lot, but since then it's kind of fallen out of favor. And then the second map will be Villa, and Villa is a map that MBT Impetus really likes. We haven't seen too much of Ferox on it, and I'm not too sure how these guys are going to be able to adapt. But very worth noting that Ferox has Revek, Array, and Zezos. All three of these guys actually were on Aerowolf. Revek and Array were active members. Zezos was there briefly, and he left. And Aerowolf, they are pretty decent Villa team. They don't like to play that much, but if push comes to shove, they are solid at playing it. So they may bring over some of those, ex-Aerowolf strategies, adapt them to their own team. Might see a good contest in Villa as well. But the first map, it's going to be Oregon. MBT Impetus is going to be on attack. And that's a very, very interesting decision, because Villa, initially, it was very heavily defender-sided, given that it's a new map, and that's what traditionally happens. But would you say, Maddie, that now Villa is still defender-sided? I think it still is.
I think the way the positions work, I think they certainly do, especially upstairs, more towards the bar billiards site upstairs. I think that one heavily favors the defense in the way that you get a lot of control. It's sort of centralized in the hallway, so you do have room for your rotators to play around, and you get to be a bit more aggressive and in the face of the attackers, so they don't really get to feel comfortable. So I think you're definitely right. I think it's still definitely more leaning towards that defensive side, but there are also plenty of wide areas for the attackers to really capitalize on and take a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah, that is correct. So we'll have to see how this plays out between these two teams. Honestly, I think Japan Best Guy coming into the MBT lineup has really revitalized them. He's kind of been a little bit off sometimes, but new lineup, it takes a while to get fully warmed up. SMZ he's really unlocked his old potential that we saw, especially season 7, where they were actually very, very close to making LAN. MBT Impetus, that was the old system, of course, so a bit easier to make LAN if you have a good day, but nevertheless still a very interesting season from them. That was the strongest season so far, I would say. And then the Asian friend, the captain and a really fantastic player, puts in so much work for his team, and really you can see his contributions standing out. Pogga and Civil, here and there, they are definitely capable of wrecking destruction. Sometimes not on the same role that is needed to be played. So we'll have to see what happens. Everyone is ready right now, so we should be getting into the game. We're going to have MBT versus Ferox. Ferox lineup, just to go over it very quickly. Zezos, Zando, Array, Detrian, and Revek. Very interesting things. Zezos, Revek, and Array, all ex-Airwolf players. Array and Revek being active Airwolf. And Array and Zando are brothers. They are actually right now sitting next to each other.
There's nothing more thrilling when you're playing competition with someone as close to you as your brother. I feel like, you have that bond and that camaraderie and also that sort of that natural chemistry to play with. So that's something that is really beneficial for Ferox as well. A major player to watch in this matchup is, of course, Detrian. He's been an absolute monster for them so far this season. He was probably the only thing keeping them in some of those rounds last week up against Generic. So it'll be curious to see how that plays out in this series.
Indeed. So first ban is going to come out. It's going to be a glass. Ferox Esports is going to ban that out, not wanting to deal with everything that comes with a glass push, especially when you are pushing the second floor or the basement. Very, very hard to deal with those smokes and, Capitao. Especially now that Capitao has gotten that area of effect buff. He's going to be so powerful in the laundry attack.
Oh, for sure. It just opens up so many more toys to play with on your offenses. That Montaigne does come out, and I think that's a pretty safe ban we see coming through. He's very dangerous on those rushes, especially when you hit those faster hits, especially into the basement. Sometimes you can just get overwhelmed by some really strong entries, especially when you sort of battering ram your way down there.
So Glass, Monty is also a very decisive ban. MBT is going to continue that up with a mute ban. So you can kind of see what the idea is right now with the mute ban. They don't want to deal with issues attacking the basement, especially now that they are going on attack first.
Yeah, I think that's a major focal point for a lot of teams on offense here on Oregon. I think it's one of those maps that everyone knows so well. It's been in the pool for a long time. It's been so mainstay, and one of the most important sites in the map is, of course, that basements with those close quarter engagements and the way that it's got a lot of opportunities for both sides to play around with. So you can really see that in our operator pick bans.
Yeah, indeed. And Nomad's going to be coming out immediately. Pogga is going to be playing her. And on maps like Oregon, I think she's very, very strong. I am surprised there is no Capitao yet, especially since it's going to be a basement attack. The Kaid is going to get swapped, maybe, or Detrian just... No, he shouldn't swap that because you have the mute banned. Oh, he is. So he is going to go onto the Jaeger. Fair enough, you do need that throwable denial ability.
That is true. I think that the Kai, especially in this basement, would have been very useful for them as well, because they're trying to keep those hatches safe above the laundry there. That's a very strong attacking choice, especially when there's two hard breaches on the offensive side. That could have also been a play in why they went with that setup. I'm curious to see how they play on Nomad here, though. That's what I'm really keen to see.
Indeed, we're gonna have to see how all of this plays out. First defense from Ferox Esports. They are getting all the drones right now. Revek is on the Echo. He used to play a lot of Echo on Aerowolf. And he transferred over to Ferox at the start of Season 9. Mid-season, Array followed him over. These two guys honestly can do a lot of damage working together. Array especially. There were so many rounds this season for Aerowolf that he simply bailed them out due to his individual plays. Hopefully Ferox doesn't have to rely on those, but on defense right now, doesn't really matter who's making those plays as long as you're wasting time, possibly even getting picks.
Working your way forward in that sort of scenario is important. Pogger working forward, gets a nice pickup chimed in there by Diaz and friend. Detrian does fall. Those are two major players as well falling already for Ferox. Array and Detrian, two guys that we both touched on that can certainly be the game breakers for this defense, and getting that early pick there, especially with a whole 2 minutes to play around with now, they can really cautiously start draining for information and starting to gather a lot of intel on where these defenders are playing themselves. And we actually have Zesox here, not playing around the site. Doesn't get the timing well, unfortunately, on that peak. And
yeah, honestly,
see where they go from here.
They could have stopped that if they had the roamer in tower already ready. Could have gotten 2 free trades. So yes, they lost the smoke and the Jaeger, and make no mistake, those are huge losses, especially the operators combined with the players that were lost. But they have decent plant denial still available. They have 1 C4, they have 2 yokai drones. Thankfully the yokai drone wasn't caught in the Thatcher blast, but the hard breaches are wreaking havoc on the hatches right now. It's gonna be a very, very long 1 minute and 20 seconds. Right now, Revek can't land the shots on the drone. Thankfully for him, Zetos can.
Utility coming in towards the bomb site though. Flashes up above us. We see our first man drop in behind the B sign. That's a rotating from Revek. Does find a Japan guy, but taken down there as Pogger finds Revek, and now Zando left alone in a 1v5, and he won't get anything out of that one. Japan guy cleans up the last man for the round as MBT get off to a good start and really controlled from them. I really liked the way that they got those picks very early there by punishing a bit too much aggression upstairs by the defense.
Indeed, that was a great round from MBT. Those 2 initial picks, that gave them so much time, especially since one of them was the smoke. They had no smokes to deal with, and the site manpower was so low. Once everything was ready and settled, well, the push came. Even C4 missed, actually. No one won the gunfights. Revek pushed out really, really foolhardily, opened himself to attack from the hatch, and that was it.
I feel like if Revek played a bit more passive there, that round becomes a lot more doable. Even if he wins that gunfight, the trade's ready to come in from that hatch to his rear, so the decision-making process there for me, I don't quite understand, but he might have seen a play there that we didn't. Back down into the basement though, and looking for something a little bit more from Ferox.
Yeah, one thing very interesting is that, you know, since the second half of Season 9 has started, Ferox has actually been together boot camping, and they have been playing in a gaming house, in fact, and their first match, as you guys know, didn't really go very well. They lost 1 map and drew the other to Generic Esports. And hopefully there's not too many issues being together in the room, because it's a bit odd that getting together, playing side by side with your teammates would cause issues, but hopefully it's just a bit of a warming up period for them, because Ferox, these guys have a great team together, and they are definitely capable of going very, very far.
Especially, yeah, this lineup on paper is probably one of the best in the league right now. And as I said before as well, they were in contention for a final spot for the majority of the season. But then that loss to Generic, that's a massive heartbreak, and that can make or break a team, especially if personalities begin to clash when you're losing. So finishing the back end of this season and taking during that player break before Season 10 starts, that's going to be a massive chance for them to really grow together as a unit. Into the round though. Civil's looking for a bit more info as he gets spotted out there by Revek's own yokai drone.
Yeah, Revek is playing a bit aggressive with the drone. No follow-up by a player, so it's not really an aggressive push or aggressive drone that's coming out. So risking the drone a bit unnecessarily in my opinion, but Array's gonna get the first kill this time, and Japan best guy loses his life. Civil takes down the Yokai drone but takes a lot of damage in return. So this is the tower player that they were kind of lacking the previous time around, and now they have him in the form of Array.
And Array being in that tower position now makes it a lot harder for the attackers to move around the outside of the map and try and get into good attacking positions, as they've all really been taken into this main foyer area. And although they have that hatch breach, that's another angle they're open to, as Zesox gets aggressive in through the lecture hall. Now, SMZ stuck down at the main stairs, and Hogger's going to have to try and rotate out here up above the main entrance. But this is really well played so far now by Ferox, a great return.
Yeah, honestly, these guys are doing really, really well. And the early picks this time going in their favor, as well as the damage done to the two of the allied players. Revek almost loses his second Yokai drone, but I don't think it's really going to matter right now. There are two C4 still active, and the crew mines are still being a huge problem. One of the thermite charges is going to be used to flush Zezos out, and it's interesting that it's happening from Meeting Hall and Garage. This is a very dangerous angle to be taking. He's going to get away with his life. I wouldn't really recommend this push from MBT Impetus, because a West Clear, oh my goodness, how do you miss that? A West Clear would have been so much more methodic. And what are you doing? You knew Zezos was here. Civil gives away a free kill, and aggressive pushing from SMZ. He's going to get caught out again. Gets baited by the air jab. The plant was going down, but Zandu is going to shut things down. It is Pogger going down. Very, very beautiful round from Ferox Esports.
They really made the attackers feel uncomfortable there. They made them feel claustrophobic, and they forced them into that main foyer. When you've lost any chance to get map control like that, especially on Oregon, you need to get that initial first floor control when you're taking basement. So with Array up in the tower, and the fact that Zestox was allowed to stay alive for so long in that position, that was the key for Ferox to take that round.
Yep, they really did really well, and you can see that the first round was kind of a misstep for them. Array's going to tease out the Clash pick. I assume he's going to go on a more traditional operator. Is he? I mean, a smoke would be useful, but either he's deliberating. Yep, it's going to be an alibi. So Array's really, you should put him on 3-speed. Those kind of roles really fit him the best. The smoke that he was playing in the first round, not what he really performs on the most. You give him a gun, give him 3-speed, and he is a force to be reckoned with. Zandu this time is going to be taking the Echo. So I like this flexibility coming out from Ferox Esports. Revek on his more traditional Valkyrie, but he has played Echo as well quite a bit. So it's good that Ferox are getting comfortable with themselves, with their roles. And it's like what I was talking about with Errol yesterday. Whatever the site requires, they're going to play it. And it's not like the player sticks with the operator. It's just whatever team needs for each side.
Well, that's how the game should be played in its heart, really.
Yeah.
Not every operator is going to work for every bomb site, obviously.
Dangerous game.
Getting that one right, it's Revek. That's a bit audacious there. He's going to look for another one as well. That's so cheeky.
That's even worse, because if someone from MBT had pushed up left quickly like an Ash, like what SMZ is playing, he could have caught Revek very, very easily. Or at least caught the cannon.
That is true. I do like a bit of moxie shown there. That's a great piece of information you can gather from the defense. Sometimes you got to be a little bit loose in your style, and I like to see that come out from Ferox here. But meanwhile, they've changed the bomb site up over towards the dormitories. A bit more of a roaming lineup as well, as we can tell by the difference in the bomb site and how they play. Much more mobile.
Yeah, honestly, second floor lends a lot more to Ferox's playstyle. So you could see when the initial picks didn't go their way when defending basement, they were kind of a bit lost of what to do. When the picks went their way, they were able to play a more free-flowing game, because the way Oregon works is you only have two staircases connecting the basement Oh, what a C4 from Revex, Civil, and Asian friend are gonna go down, landing right in between the two of them. Now SMZ is going to down one, but Pogga is gonna clean up Array. Japan best guy is also down, and Revex with the third. He's on fire this round. I told you he could do damage, and he is proving me right.
Well, it's that mobility I just talked about as well. They're able to run
Revex on for the ace.
Damage. The ace opportunity, SMZ, aware of the most likely position right now for Revek. He's not going to get too aggressive though. That's a great, mature response to this sort of action as well. But he's going to get this ace. Surely he gets this.
No!
Oh my no!
Oh wait, that was Zezox.
That's Zezox. That's Zezox.
Well, okay, SMZ, ooh, he's trying to bring this back. He's trying to bring this back really, really hard. And it's a 1v2. He has 50 seconds to do so. It's very much possible, but he's going up against the information operators, and now he's going to hit an alibi Charisma.
Yep, giving away that massive piece of information in this position. Doesn't know that these two players have actually found their way very deep into these bomb sites. Just playing these passive angles, we can see Vivek right down the line, holding the more aggressive of the two angles. There's no way he can get away with the droners. He has to push forward up this main corridor. He's making a lot of noise. He even has to retrieve the diffuser. This is not going to get any easier as we do have that yokai becoming that general nuisance now. This is going to be it. SMZ has no time. They have to try and push forward. They're not going to get it. They have to hunt the frags. But
no.
Great positioning here by Ferox. They'll get their seconds.
Indeed, no ace for Revek, but he played that perfectly, not putting himself in too much of danger, keeping the round win prioritized over his own personal accolades. But make no mistake, he was so perfect this round. Great shots that he hit with his gun, 2 kills with the gun and 2 kills with the C4.
It's that ability to be dynamic on your defense, and the way that he played that with his own use of information and running around and just being a massive nuisance. And as we said before, like it plays more to Ferox's playstyle, that upstairs bomb site. As we're actually going to see them drop down now into the kitchen dining hall area. Now, this one is one of those bomb sites where it can be quite difficult at times to get a solid defense on. It's very wide and very open once you get that initial opening. So this is where defenses are really tested on it.
Indeed. I wouldn't really prefer personally, and I'm a pro league caster, I'm not a player. But personally, I don't like playing this bomb set because the retake is very, very difficult. And that's really why I prefer to avoid this. I'd rather play the tower where at least you can make those vault rotates from the outside and still make the retake happen. But look at that. Civil and Detrian both on 0 frags, but doesn't matter because it's still early. An interesting choice that Detrian is doing. Interesting setup from Ferox, in fact. They're castling off the left doorway, they're castling off the main doorway as well as the bus stop window. Very important, and if I believe correctly, they're going to be putting a mirror window there. Obviously, that mirror window is not going to be held too hard because a quick reaching charge or, you know, even the Maverick that they have, a hole in that is going to render it useless. But it's just going to provide the attackers a little bit more pause.
That's the best way to describe it in this scenario, because Pogga's actually gotten quite close just to oh no, Pogga. There you go, mate.
Oh, that's too easy. He's waiting. Patience.
Good trigger discipline.
Yeah, there is this player right next to him. I'm not sure if they've heard each other. I believe Pogga must have had because he was on his cam, and you make that sound when you fall off your cam. So... oh, Pogga's gonna get a free kill right now. Zando was on his yokai drone, did not hear Pogga opening that hole. An easy headshot for him. MBT get the lead off frag once again, and Revek getting too curious right now. MBT dialing back their own aggression and just waiting for Ferox to give them picks.
And this is probably the best way to counterplay a dynamic attack, or rather a dynamic defense. Sorry, for Ferox. I mean, playing passive, waiting for them to run at those angles. They have those players that like to get Remy, that like to take fights, and Now, it's actually putting a lot more pressure on Detrin. He's trying to hold the line over towards the kitchen using a C4 early. Just peeking forward to get that information. They've sort of backed out of this corner, and Array's pushing forward on that dock.
They have ignored the player in the bathroom, and they're gonna get punished for it. Array loses life to Japan best guy. Detrian gets a frag, but it's just him. He needs to ace, clutch this to stand any chance. Now Xando has made his way, Poga has made his way in, and Detrian gets finished off. Very, very strong and tactical impulses. They had both bomb sites pretty much. Didn't even need the plant. Great fragging. Great patience.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected. That is fantastic on your attack, and a really great sense of maturity in your playstyle to read your opposition, make that right counter call, and then play off the back of that one. Now, we're going to go straight back into the basement now. We've had the rounds play out, and in the 5th of the half, we're going to see the Ying come out finally, something that might have been lucky to get through the pick bans for the operators. It's been heavily on a lot of teams' radars to be taken out of the play, and I think we're going to see a very strong rush coming in here from MBT if they can get away with it.
Well, it is going to be interesting. I'm still surprised that... Oh, no.
There we go. Never mind.
I mean, I am still surprised, honestly, that these guys are not going for the Capital. Even in the pre-buff state, and I say it's a buff because area of effect really matters a lot more than the damage. Even in the pre-buff state, he was very strong on the basement attack. And you can see why Xando is putting his mirror window on the left-hand side. If you put it on the right-hand side, Fireball comes in, there's no way you're escaping because either a gun will be trained on you or you're gonna get burnt out.
Don't want to play with fire. You're just going to get burnt. Getting this defense set up though. Getting a bit more vertical play this time around. They're playing above the site. I don't think anyone's actually positioned the bomb site. I mean, we do actually see Xando fall back down below. But this late change off the Ying onto the IQ.
Oh.
Still potential for that rush, so to speak. But, I mean, we might just see it more controlled aggression from MBT.
This is gonna hold up once again in the meeting hall, accompanied by nothing but his glue mines. It's a strong position for a Legion to hold, and something that, of all operators, Legion is, I would say, the best equipped to hold. But, you know, it's possible to just work right around it by pushing multiple members from multiple angles. And that Maverick sneaking up, Poga, if he can get Zezos cleared, they can get meeting control. It will be very, very powerful. Array is in the tower without an ACOG, or really without any sight, and it's not even the 416, which would give that damage at range that he would want to deny the top of White Stairs.
Now, still putting more pressure on. Zesox just keeping presence in the lecture hall, but there hasn't been that aggression in from that main foyer just yet. Still getting that information. Thighs in front. I think there's that inkling right now that this is where Zesox has been for quite a while. And they're going to begin making their way in towards the site. Now, there's not really a stronghold over towards the laundry side of this basement right now. It's mainly just Xandos playing that mirror. That can be a strong position. They do get ready for the possibility of the swings, but this is going to be the hit coming in just a moment. Infinas, they begin making their way downstairs. It's going to be Civil leading the charge here with SMZ. As Japan guy finds a pick onto Detrin, finds the second. Array falls. Now 5-on-3. That plant should be going in, but Zesox coming in from the back finds thy Asian friend.
Where's the yokai? There we go. Don't need the yokai if you're gonna get both kills, but he can't stop the plant. Poga from above gets one more, and Japan best guy finishes off with a 3K in the round. Very masterfully played. I'm not sure what happened with the plant denial there. C4, the yokai.
I think it was pressure from the hatches up above when they lost that lecture hall there, and they were feeling pressure. I think Revek had to get off the yokai there to try and take the fight rather than potentially get punished even further. I think that was the mindset going forward.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He did get the kills, to be fair. It's just he was really just a microsecond too late.
Yeah. yeah, the trades were ready. A really good position there by Japan guy to come through from 2 stories above and just pop in, say hello there, and then just win the round up.
Yeah, honestly, that was great, and he's done this in the previous time they won the basement attack as well. Just pushing in from the back while the main push is focused from the front. Ferox not too equipped with dealing with that double push just yet, and perhaps that's something they need to work on for Season 10 and beyond.
Well, I mean, with the state that these two teams are in right now, you know, can't make finals, won't get relegated. This is a chance to try new things and also prepare yourselves for Season 10. I mean, especially a team like Ferox, who is certainly up there right now. You can challenge for making land next season. They're going to have plenty to talk about during the off-season, and of course now.
Yeah, Ferox is a bit of a wild card team. They beat Airwolf in the first half of the season. I believe it was a 7-3 or a 7-4 scoreline, one of those.
7-4 on Consulate.
Right, that's the one. 7-4
yeah.
on Consulate, yeah. And so they beat Airwolf, and then they got Array added on board. They got Zetos added on board, and then they drew and lost to Generic. So I think they're just taking their time, maybe trying new things, as you said. Definitely not a bad team.
Oh, definitely not. They've definitely had potential there, and a lot of experience as well, being the majority of that ex-Airwolf core. So, you know, that's the type of lineup you can certainly build something around, and they'll look to do that. On the reverse side, MBT Infamous, we talked about them as well, being a team that can certainly grow a bit, be one of those sort of those undercards that start to challenge to be more of a force in the region, and they're showing that right here with a 3-2 lead currently on their offense. Last round of the half, 4-2 half on the attacking side. That would be absolutely fantastic to get the ball rolling on Oregon.
Indeed. Now, the wall is going to get opened up. Detrian is not really challenging too actively onto the master bedroom, so with pretty decent cover you can get Thermite in. The Asian friend, oh, he's going to get shot down from Detrian. Unfortunate for him, he was trying a very, very different angle, and what an angle that must have been for Detrian to hit the shot.
It's one of those moments where you just wish you could have seen it from his side. But a tight angle, we have to assume, and getting tighter in the rounds. We get close to a minute left. Sipple's going to try and find that breach in through the walk-in wardrobe. Breach comes in from the back, and Detrian, just on the other side of this one, could take this fight.
Oh dear. Oh dear, he's dead.
Oh, there we go.
That was not the smart decision from Civil. Detrian just got curious, and he was like, well, might as well try my luck. And he got him a kill, even dropped the diffuse, and now he's going to be camping on top of it. But MBT is still in this, especially if Japan Best Guy has something to say about it.
He's going to be the main opener in the round, you feel like, with his positioning. He does go for that rotate down towards the white stairs. He's played positioned here as well as SMZ, holding a tight line. They'll look to try and getting closer towards the bomb.
There we go.
Now, delays come through, but Japan Guy finds one. Detrian does manage to take that pick up onto SMZ, and as Japan Guy begins pushing forward, Detrian's on the other side of the crossfire set up. The double pick attempt comes through. The smoke set a delay, and with less than 20 seconds on the timer, a 2v1. Now Rebek has a massive play to make here. Trapped in the small dorm area. 10 seconds. They're going to have to push closely into him in just a moment. He's adjusting his position though.
Oh, Pogger's down.
Taking away.
How did that happen?
Oh my goodness, that's a win. Rebek.
No way. I thought MBT had this. The rotation was coming out. Pogger, was he down by a goo mine?
It had to have been.
But I heard, no, the funny thing was, I didn't hear the goo mine. I, in fact, heard a bullet. So, I'm not sure if that was actually Japan Best Guy getting a bit trigger happy and just pre-firing straight into Pogger.
Oh, that was almost a mistake. Valkyrie coming in there for Japan Guy. Look, it's not a night of Southeast Asia if we don't have at least one team kill. Right.
Shout out to my friend Mentalist. I mean, what's his record of team kills actually? He's been getting a lot of them.
I think he's got like 7 this season.
Jeez. You hear that,
You know,
Mentalist?
but he's a freak, so it doesn't matter. No one gets in his way.
Alright, so now first round on defense for MBT. In particular, we have now swapped sides. And it's going to be a different kind of hold, you can kind of see. But they are going with the similar setup in the sense that you have the Legion being brought out. Except, MBT is going with the Kaid. And this is the first time we are seeing Kaid this matchup. We saw Kaid tease earlier. But eventually it was swapped out.
Kaid is such a useful operator to have in the meta right now. I think he's really he's covering a lot of holes that the defense had for a while there, especially on a map like Oregon where it's really hard to defend those hatches, but it just gives you more of an opportunity now. This could be a fantastic sort of run for MBT. They can get the ball rolling right here. As long as they're not too aggressive and they maintain composure, I see Ferox having a hard time getting into the site right now.
Indeed. We're gonna have to see how this now plays out. Kaid is not really gonna be too much of a bother, I feel, because the Thatcher is still in play. Talking about the Thatcher, he's gonna get the first pick of the round. Pogger goes down. Big kill, the Legion off the board, and you know, they really needed the meeting hall control to waste some more time, possibly get picks. Just like how Zezos himself was playing the Legion. Takes one to know one, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, he really read him properly, and easy frag with the, he could have gotten more than 3 goo mines out, I would say, at that stage.
And when you have your, that's so cheap.
The Kaid trick.
Lots of teams were doing this last week though as well. They're starting to really master their timing. Touching back on that Legion though, I think, you know, teams are playing Legion quite aggressively and having him more in that roam state. That's a good call, but having him alive late round as well, he's such a great delaying operator. Sometimes I feel like he could be used just a little bit more withdrawn towards the side, you know?
The flank is coming out from behind. Thy Asian friend, the Kaid, pushing up with a ridiculous shotgun. He has not put an ACOG on it, but doesn't matter if you have ACOG or holographic, the damage dealt will be the same. Let's see if he can do anything to influence this round, because it's 1 minute to go. They are in a man disadvantage. Utility is still yet to come out from Ferox Esports for the final push, and they can burn so much time. I believe 2 smokes have been expended as well.
Well, you can see them getting ready now to make that push and split from above. Zezos has already got a good forward position at the base of the stairs as the smokes do begin to come in. Zando getting hit up by those goon mines, but Detrian taking down Diasian friend gives them the 5-on-3 coming into the site. They do still have 2 players stacked up behind this mirror wall. This is where Zezos can certainly start to break things apart, with those players spreading out across the upstairs area there, yet to drop in.
Oh, that was a good shot from Zezos. He's gonna get his second kill of the round. Japan best guy goes down, not so successful on the defense. And Araya Detrian clearing things out. First round for the attack goes in Ferox's favor, but similar thing happened. MBT also collected the first round on their attack.
Yeah, and then the adjustment came in very quickly for Ferox, and they found their footing in the basement. It'll be interesting to see how MBT returns serve here. They're actually going to go straight out of the basement, upstairs, into dorms. I guess we're going to see a lot more free-flowing play from them this time around. Maybe they felt a bit claustrophobic on that defense. Yeah,
that is correct. We'll have to see. This is not that kind of free-flowing lineup exactly. Well, now it is. Now it is. So, Daisian friend. Yeah, I mean, Daisian friend, I presume he's going to be just holding down that long angles wherever he pleases, rotating quite a bit, and given that he's a doc, he can hold in a location. Even if he takes some damage, he can back off. As long as he's not been headshot, he'll himself back up and then take a more safe angle. So a lot of people wonder why doc is more preferred, and they kind of say, yeah, it's kind of selfish, and yeah, at pro league level you should be hitting your headshots. But honestly, at this level, if you miss the headshot, which happens more often than you'd expect, giving that second lease at life to a dog player compared to a rook player is huge. It's absolutely massive.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, when they're saying you should be hitting that headshot, well, in return, so the other guys should be able to hit a headshot on you as well, right? Especially at this level of play. So, I mean, Japan guy there on the Valve, in other news, is not going to be as aggressive with the cam placements as we saw for MBT earlier on. Or rather, it was for Ferox, because it was Revek who was being an absolute monster on them.
Yeah, indeed. Now, let's see if this clear is easy, just as it was on the basement attack. I like MBT's choice to just swap over. They're like, alright, we didn't win this site and we have no idea why. It's not a stupid mistake that lost us, so it's a systemic mistake that we can't fix immediately. And Dexter just waiting for the drone call. And there we go, he's actually going to damage the bandit quite a bit. Civil going down to about 50 HP. He also has someone rappelling on the window that he needs to be careful of.
This is a fantastic setup here from Ferox. They've really put a lot of pressure here on Civil now, and he's starting to feel uncomfortable as now there comes in the phone call.
The second one missed, and if it had hit, Civil would be down on the floor. I'm surprised that it missed, given that they had the phone call. And now he's gonna have a stairs push as well. And what is Zezos doing? Doesn't cover, but thankfully, you know, they were ready on the stairs. Zando has picked up Japan best guy as well. Poga trades one finally back for his team. Detrin goes down 1 minute 20 in the round.
Just a little prick.
A late trade though, it goes in favour of the offense. They've got the 4-on-3, even though Array is low. And they'll have their chance to breach in just a moment. Sesok's making himself known as Array. Low HP finds the frag onto thy Asian friend, and that's the dock taken out of play, leaving just Pogger and SMZ, the last two alive now. 2v3 though, they'll push forward towards this hole in the wall. They've got the pings, they've got the information, the drone spotted them out.
Oh,
now,
what a shot!
Tight angle, Zesox falls, now 2v2. Less than 50 seconds on the clock.
Oh,
doesn't quite find Zendo as he creeps in, and now SMZ in the back of the A site. Doesn't feel the heat just yet as Zendo goes to the plant. The pre-fire attempt won't be there, and now this is going to be a difficult retake.
Oh, on the floor, Revek nearly got himself killed. You know, and just in time, Zando will be getting away as well. Phone call comes out, second one post plant. And lots of pre-fires from both sides. SMZ knows he needs to push Revek first, and it's a very long angle, so he's gonna fall off that. He's gonna try the very standard push on the right, and both of these guys expending their bullets, and there we go! Flashes are going to blind both players, I believe, and Revek has backed off very wisely. The time has run out for SMZ. He can't win this round. Very unfortunate for him. Then the CZ headshot cleans him up.
Look at this drive-by here from Revek, but really well played in the back end. That 2v1 was played off the back of each other. The positioning was really strong. It did isolate two 1v1 potential fights there, but the way that they were set up and the ability there for Revek to come back into the room at the right time with the flashbang saved the round for them at the end.
Yeah, honestly, if the pre-fires, I was just talking about those, everyone was just shooting. And I know Kizoku said shoot easy, but that's not the way to do it. They just expended their bullets. Well, Array teasing that Ash pick right now. He might be 6th picking off it. Civil did swap from the Bandit to the Jaeger, and they're gonna try and defend second floor once again. Now they have the confidence that, alright, we tweak X thing and we change Y thing and we can probably win this defense.
Interesting to note that we do finally see that Ying come into play here for the attacking side. Ray will be on that one. That does allow for a very strong site take late in the round if they get that information pulled out. Forcing information early. Dealing with the Jaeger as well, that'll be something that'll be on their hit list as we go upstairs once again into the berms. Now, MBT, it was a close round in the end. It was a 1-on-2. They had the post plant, it was out of their favour. If they trade better on that round, they can certainly take this one. So I think they're feeling quite confident on this upstairs round.
Indeed, and now for the first time in this match, they are 2 rounds behind Ferox Esports, and the first 2-round lead for either side. So even if they start trading rounds again, this has put Ferox in pole position to win this map.
Oh, for sure. Having that type of lead, having this sort of attack as well, and with the experience of this lineup, you wouldn't put it past them to start to wrap this one up in the next few rounds. Civil, again, gonna get themselves trapped in that room. Now, don't know if he's learned his lesson, or if he's banking on a play from his teammates, but could be interesting to see how he goes as Array holds the line towards that large window at the dorms. Revek's gonna get that information with the Jerome play.
Honestly, we have had so much of discussion with the one-time side versus ACOG, especially with Ash, and then you see people like Array just using a reflex even when an ACOG is available. So, whatever works, and a lot of pros are comfortable with both, so not too effective, I would say, the Ash change.
Yeah, in some circumstances, I sometimes wish I have a reflex over an ACOG as well when I take some fights. I think the ACOG, it's really, really strong on those larger maps, but like a map like Oregon as well, where like it's very close quarters when you get into the nitty-gritty of the bomb site. Sometimes you just wish you had a reflex sight on.
Now Zando still spending so much time here in the tower. Zezos is there as well. He's gonna go over to the exterior connector next to Attic. Detrian's holding the angle as well into Armory. I'm not sure if he spotted the yokai drone. Didn't seem to, at least. Trying so hard to get this player flushed out, and he's gonna get away, but he's gonna get down. That's a big down, because it's a echo, so there won't be yokai plant now happening. Now the final push is coming out, utility being down. Unfortunately, Revek is gonna get blinded yet again, but Array is just gonna walk in, collect 2 kills on his own. He doesn't get blinded. Japan gets guy trades 1 back and 1 more. But Array is just wrecking absolutely everyone, and Pogger off-site as the doc. He can't do anything except wait.
Yeah, you get put in a 1v3 when Array runs in and just gets 3 kills. I mean, what can you do if you're Pogger right now? And the post-plant positions for Ferox right here goes for the run out, but Detrian won't let that slip through their fingers. I think it's something that I really want to briefly bring up is Detrian's had a relatively quiet matchup for this one. I mean, it's really been Ray leading the charge, but I think that's 100% true there as well. He has just started to creep his way back into the action. Maybe he needed that warm-up.
Maybe he did. And, well, let's see. This could be the final round. MBT Impetus came out swinging on their attack, but so far unable to win a single defensive round, and they're gonna try a 3rd time to defend the 2nd floor. And I don't know, Matty, this could really spell the end for them.
It's very risky, and I think that last jam was much more disjointed than the one prior to it where they lost the 1v2 clutch. That time around, Array's pacing with the Ying assisted with Revek's Dokubi. That was textbook attacking play right there. Their entries were solid. The lines they ran were true, and I mean, maybe you should have gone to the basement here, right? I mean, it's much more open space upstairs. You're giving room for Array to sort of make that sort of space for your side. Take it downstairs, make them feel claustrophobic, and take map control. Take those fights. Try something different. It's more of the same right now from MBT on the defense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would take my chances as a team with the basement at this stage, because it's the last round.
You can even roll in that dining hall.
Yeah, just something to throw them off. Dining hall, the tower. And Pog is going on the basement room again. He likes to do this a lot with the dock. But the problem with this kind of room is, against this kind of team, is you are so passive and you're not really having an impact on the round, and when the time comes for you to have an impact, you are down 1v3 as we saw. It's worked out for him before, but not always.
Sure. I mean, Japan guy has gone for the pulse for the first time. in this matchup. That could be something they're trying to play around with to get that momentum flying once again. Revek making noise more towards the main foyer, the south side of the building. And taking initial positions as they begin their journey out through this first minute or so. And I mean, I think we're 100%. I think you're right on the money though. It's too much of the same right now from MBT. What they did really well in the first half on their offense, they shaped it up. We're not seeing that on the defense.
Indeed. Now, I'm not too sure whether the same patience that really brought them back into the first few rounds would be prudent, but that's kind of what they're doing this round, and it could be effective as long as they hit their shots. And Pogga needs to return on time. Everyone else on site needs to give him time to do that and allow his return to go undetected. So it's really going to be a full team effort here for this round to be successful, because this passive game, it gets punished by many teams because, well, it's passive.
It's so easy to run into the line pre-fire corner, especially when you have an assault rifle that can do that heavy damage, especially like even to the body rather than just the headshots. Now we're going to see Pogga make his way back towards the site though. Array does find that opening now, and that's going to be their opening to really just start to make a lot of noise. They're coming in from the back. Pogga finds one, a bit messy, but Revek falls. That's not going to be taken down. Spots the people entering towards the site through that double window, and Zesok's looking for more. A 3-on-4 as Array takes down Civil. Still the Japan guy coming in down below. This could be the C4 frag. This could be the massive money making hit. He finds it! Zesox falls! That's a massive play from Japan guy in the context of the round. 40 seconds left on the clock. A 3-on-3. This is the strongest position MBT has been in the entire half on their defense.
Quick peeks coming out from Japan guy, and both him and Pogga are really off-site. Unfortunately, we're going to have one shot down. But a team kill right there. Detrian does collect Pogga, but it's now him against Japan. Best guy, Detrian, he has come a very, very long way around, and the camera is active. They know exactly where he is. Japan best guy just needs to hide. Unfortunately, I think he might have seen him. Gumine is going to put Detrian in a disadvantage, but if he can hit his shot, he can win this! Ooh! And he does! Headshot by Detrian. Team kill made up for Japan best guy. All you had to do was run.
It's not a night in Southeast Asia Pro League without a team kill. What a finish to the match. A huge play by Detrian, and I thought Pogga had just turned the entire round on his head. He timed that flank almost to perfection. If that kill onto Revek was cleaner, and he could have punished Detrian there, he was the Sophia who entered upstairs and then managed to find an exit. That's the round totally changed.
Honestly, oh dear. That team kill did help, obviously, but it was very chaotic, so it makes sense that everything really came to a head over there. What I'm just surprised by is Japan best guy not choosing that moment to run, because he heard the Gumine detonate. I mean, he knew the Gumine was there. If he had actually just ran down white, could have just won the round right there. And obviously, I don't want to dog him because, everyone makes mistakes. So probably it's just a bit of an inexperience speaking right there. And it happened just now on the attacking round where chat tells me he actually downed Pogga, the Nomad, when they were pushing in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really just inexperience. And it will come with time. It will come with practice. And once the season ends for them, which is tonight, I think they're going to be in a very, very nice spot for the next season.
Yeah, well, that was a good wrap-up, and that was our man Detrian, who woke up in that second half, started to find his rhythm, and start to move forward with that one. I have to agree with you there. I feel like, in hindsight, it's very easy to talk down about that decision-making process there. Going down white would have been the better idea, not spammable, could have run a further distance away, and I mean, we're watching the game, obviously. We don't have that in-the-moment sort of pressure on us. So it's very easy for us to say that. So, I mean, overall, you still have to say, even with that team kill taking in place, Detrian got, I think it was a 4K in that round to rip it apart, because he got 3 there when he came in.
I think that was a 3K because I think on the window,
he got 3 coming in, but one of them was his teammate. Yeah, that's right.
Well, technical 4K.
It's a 4K. It's a 4K, Chief.
The K does not discriminate. We are very progressive here in Rainbow Six.
Oh, that's not even that funny. God damn. Oh, well, but we're going to be jumping into Villa next. Now, we touched on this briefly at the start, and we do see that it favours more of those defensive-based sides. And if we talk like that, do we think it could have been the map for NBT Impetus, or do you think maybe that they're in for a very rough series?
I don't know. It is their map, right? Like, they prefer playing Villa a lot more than I would say Ferox does, and I wouldn't really know. They did pick this. They had a choice of Bank and Villa at the end, and they banned Bank, giving them Villa. That first map, Oregon, it was Ferox banning Bank in favor of Oregon, so both teams not fans of Bank, but they are fans of Oregon and Villa respectively. So I think Villa could work out well for them. Oregon has the kind of railroading feeling that you have because it's a very linear map. It's the oldest map in the game. You know, it probably is due for a rework perhaps, but it's very hard to figure out what kind of a rework it will get. So makes sense that it's still not been announced for a rework in year 4. But Villa, the new map, what Ubisoft said, is the most competitive map that they've ever released. It's gonna, I think, be a lot better. You have much more roam opportunities, a lot better movement, crisscrossing from left to right, different rooms.
I have to agree with them.
Yeah, so maybe MBT's defense will be better here.
I 100% agree with them. I do think it's the most competitive. It's honestly one of my favorite maps in the game right now. Not the most popular opinions, I guess. It's obviously not everyone's cup of tea at the moment, but I think the way that Villa does is it really allows for some like a more team-based strategy, and that's my favorite thing to see in Rainbow Six. I mean, you can have your individuals just turn up and make incredible plays and dictate the pace for the round, but in Villa, if you're not playing off the back of another player, you're going to struggle.
Yep. So, well, we're gonna have to see what happens. I wouldn't say, I'll be a bit reluctant to say that MBT will win this, or even MBT are likely to win this, because we've talked about this earlier. Ferox is such a strong team, and you give them the chance to wake up, they're gonna shred you to pieces. That's what they did to Aerowolf. MBT, not quite on the level of Aerowolf, but this is a map that I assume they have practiced a lot more. Hopefully we can see that top level play. Once upon a time, their favorite map was Coastline, and they were crazy good on it. I believe SMZ got 19 kills on it at the time, so maybe we'll see the same thing again today.
That would be huge. A massive display from SMZ could really just propel MBT into a map win here. Going into Villa though, and I mean, I think obviously our first band's going to be the Glaz coming out. I mean, certainly probably the best entering operator in the game right now. Obviously a sniper, you wouldn't really expect that from that sort of outline in the character to creation process, but Glaz is certainly probably the most damaging entry.
They might ban Glaz again, and it would, yep, there we go. It makes sense. Just a menace to play against, and perhaps, you know, they feel that MBT Impetus throughout, you know, the grapevine of the scrim, they've realized that they can really damage us really strongly.
Ying getting banned.
Zezos is laughing. He knows they were really torn to pieces by Array's Ying.
Well, I mean, it's one of those operators as well that's coming in heavily on a lot of teams banning radars, so to speak. I mean, Ying is so strong for aggressive aim-based players. So when you have a player like Array playing on Ying and doing what he did in the last map, you don't want to deal with that anymore.
Indeed. Now Maestro bans and Ferox going with the same bans, Glaz and Maestro, whereas it's going to be Ying and Echo. So MBT really banning what gave them the most trouble. Ying was, you know, as the Asian friend said in chat, an absolute headache to deal with. Ah, dearie. And obviously the Echo on defense as well. There are many rounds where the Echo at least made it very hard for them to win. So interesting to see that they are adapting from map 1 to map 2, even though the bans won't exactly carry over. And nope, no nice Caveira plays from Detrian. So pulse for the Caveira is a lot better in my opinion. You still have the 3 speed, but you get the information game as well.
Yeah, especially on a map like Villa, especially with its size. It's very large in its stature, but inside there's so many small choke points in the CQB areas that it really allows for Pulse having a play like Detrian on it. That's going to be massive for your side, especially with off starting on that defense. On the other side, we did actually see the Buck being traded out there for the Sophia. That was a bit of a favoured operator there for the boys on NBT.
Indeed, Detrian just testing out his new mouse, I would assume.
Dude, check out this DPI.
He's just sitting there, the captain of Ferox Esports, by the way, sitting there, and it's like, hey guys, wanna check out this cool new trick? And everyone turns to look, turns their heads like, yes captain, and then he spins. And they're like, oh my god.
Like a Beyblade, you just let it rip.
Oh, that's right, Beyblade let her rip, and Array really wants to let one rip, but it's Japan, best guy, who's gonna punish him for it. Too aggressive.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see that pressure once again. This is how we saw MBT start off in the first map. We saw Ferox play a bit of a feel around where they got punished a lot by the offense, but then they started to settle a bit more late in the half. Now, against a team like MBT, they can sort of get away with it, but when they play that high tier opposition, they'll get punished.
Oh, dearie me. SMZ just missing the kill shots right there. He is going to bring Detrian down to 50 HP, but lose his life in the process. Overall, still a good round so far. Good first minute at the very least. They got 2 very important picks. C4 off the board, Gumines off the board. Although they did lose the frags.
Yes, a 4v3, losing his sledge, does a little bit of utility is out of the way, but that's a massive piece of detection. Desmond's going to get spotted out there by Pogger. Great scan, but now he's going to have to be a lot more dynamic in his play, having to move around a lot.
Yeah, indeed. The top down and the bottom up. Oh, dearie me, Detrian, that was not the play, and he's gonna get dropped by Pogger. Reveco's coming to assist him, but he's just too late. Unfortunately, he misses his initial shots and takes a little bit of damage, but doesn't allow this to become a 4v1. His team is still in it, and this is a good situation for them. The castle barricades helping them. There's a mirror window helping them. They don't have a C4, but they had 2 very strong players nonetheless.
It's going to come down to the aim for Zendo and Revek, and if I'm a gambling man, I like to have Revek here on this B site right now, and coming up in behind MBT. They should hear this push right now, but they seem unaware. That's a massive opportunity. The Asian friend falls now. 2v1, Japan guy does take down Zendo. He gets aggressive in return at a tight angle for Revek. Does trade a bit of damage off. Now 1v2. That's right.
He doesn't need to be there. No one needs a diffuser plan because Japan, best guy. Honestly, what a pickup for MBT Impetus. He has changed things in the Impetus camp. They are looking so much more aggressive, so much more bite to them.
It's amazing how the dynamic of a team can change when you have such a strong, raw, aimed player. And that's what he brings to the table as well. He's naturally, mechanically gifted, is the term that you would use there. Just raw skill.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that. The last time you really had just one guy fragging out in each map. Occasionally you had 2 of them coming out, but still not sometimes enough to win the map, or maybe just at best get a draw. So it's good to see that Japan best guy is filling that role. now that Ferox has had the feel around, so to speak, what do you think is going to happen here? Are they going to allow themselves to get picked off the same way? Because, well, the first frag was just over-aggressiveness from Array, and he's not on the Valkyrie anymore.
Well, I mean, we saw it on the first map, right? It's already been set up again for a very similar type of defense. And this time, I expect to see a little bit more of a passive positioning and taking strong angles rather than early fights. So, not allowing those angles to be taken, especially when the aimers that are on these rifles, and the angles are more beneficial to them on the outskirts of the bomb site. It's when they try and enter, which is when we're going to see Ferox have a much better time.
Indeed. Now, Japan best guy on the Thatcher again, same operator. So some players really, you know, are able to use those kind of support operators and still perform so well with them. So it's good to see that, good to see for the team that they're able to put these guys on the support players but not lose any fragging ability.
100%. It just adds a whole other element to your gameplay when you have that extra utility that can be used the correct way, and you also still have that ability to get that aim. As we do have Detrian, just running him up down in the wine cellars, looking for a bevel too. And his ability to flank late here could be a massive piece of the puzzle here for the defense of Ferox.
Gonna have to see how this setup works now that MBT Impetus has not got those picks that is so very... They were quite lucky, I would say, in one sense, but of course you can only clear what's been put in front of you, so good on them. Revek also in that round, when he was coming on the flank, he missed one of his shots onto the other player. But still the first kill goes in favor of SMZ. Now he's going to push in very aggressively. Pulse off the board. He's not expecting a Ray there with the extended barrel 416.
Good pick up there for Ray. The trade is strong. Taking down Detrian early and giving away that position of Ray in the context around, again, that's a huge play to make though early on for MBT. They've got that vital piece of information. They've taken away that position for the late flank because Revek does fall to Pogger as they get ever so closer to this bomb site now, and Xander is going to have a lot of pressure on him in just a hot moment when Civil finally comes through this doorway.
There we go, the barricade gets broken and Xander must be wishing at this stage, why did I bring a C4? Because yes, the deployable shield's useful, but he could have gotten one, maybe two kills right there and then, but he's managed to push up and not really effective right now because Civil has felled Zezos, it's SMZ's felled Array. Whoa! A headfire shot and two headshots for Xando. The diffuser plant is going to go down successfully, however. He needs to get two more big kills, and now he knows the angle that Civil is watching. He's prone on the floor. He's going to back up. Whoa! What a shot! Xando absolutely on fire so far. He can make this clutch happen. He has a lot of time. He knows the location. Is he gonna go for the defuse? Oh, you can't do that. And he's gonna bait it out. And now he knows exactly where Pre-Fire is gonna come in. He's not gonna win it. What? Civil is going to get that. He actually shot crouch level Xando. Very unfortunate. And then when he adjusted, Civil had gone to the crouch level.
I actually thought that he had won that Angel. But somehow Civil bites the bullet, takes it like a champion, and gives them their second round.
Bullets plural.
It was just really strong progressive play there by the offense. They knew that adjustment was there because that's exactly what they did on the first map. So Ferox, they went into more passive angles. They played off the back of their roamers and kept those anchors heavy more towards the site, and they were able to punish those roamers late in the round with good timings on their entrances, and then made the defenders feel claustrophobic again.
Yeah, that's very, very important. And that bomb site that they've tried twice now, Saturn, does kind of get the effect because of that chasm in between that you have. You get left on one side alone, it's hard to make the retake. Even though Xander almost did, he really played it as perfect as he could have, aside from that final shot. He baited out the peak, and Civil just went a little too early if we are looking at ideal scenarios. And he heard Civil move and he's like, right, I know exactly where this guy is. Went for the pre-fire, just unfortunately couldn't put the cherry on top of the cake. Third round on attack for MBT Impetus, and so far they're looking so much more confident here on Villa, but at the same time they look confident on attack on Oregon as well. So maybe it's an attack thing, maybe it's a Villa thing. We'll have to see in just a little bit longer.
Just a patient position here from Japan guy. That glass is a detriment to him. That's a sound cue given to the defenders at the very least. Can't find the angle.
Oh goodness! I thought he would get the kill, but I believe the peak must not have come out from the defender. I think that was Zezos almost peeking in, or was it Zando? One of the two almost got their heads taken off.
I think it was Zando.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunate. And Japan, this guy now, he falls off on the Maverick right now. Not on the Thatcher as he has been. He can still wreak a lot more havoc, but his role kind of changes a bit. It's a different kind of support that you're playing now. And maybe it'll throw him off because one good thing... Oh, what a shot! Detrian! Just because this is MBT's map pick doesn't mean he doesn't know the map just as well. The Asian friend takes on Zezos. Array traces him right back. Now Pogga is going to take the head off Array. Well, not quite. The body will do. And it's a 3v3. There are no mirror windows here to actually block this brazen push from SMZ inside.
What was that? But still, the round's kicking on. 3v3 in the site. A minute on the clock as the breaches will be coming through. Tetrin and Zendo both stacked in behind the bar. This is where they can take their fights, play the headshot angle. Detrin's going to be patient, look to spot out information, but Pogga gets to pick up on Zando. Now more pressure on Detrin to hold the line here over towards the billiards room, but 1v3. Taken out of the action. Diffuser will go down.
All the pressure on him right now, not just it's just everything on him. It's a very, very easy plan. Now Detrin's going for the flank. There is one guy watching. He's going to get aggressive and win the fight. SMZ, L85 gang working well for MBT so far.
Well, we said that it was going to be interesting to see how they came out in this matchup. I mean, their attack was obviously stronger on Oregon as well. They split the half 3-3, back and forth in the rounds they played, but this time around, a 3-0 start, momentum currently with them, and we haven't really had an opportunity to see what adjustment could be made here from Ferox. They've tried a multitude of different ways to play the sites. We're going back up towards Trophy Room. What they pull out here will be crucial for them.
Vivek going on the castle again, Xander still bringing the mirror. The Asian friend now, he'll go on the Dokebi. So, almost identical to, I think exactly identical to what they were doing before. Just, we'll have to see whether they're able to fix their issues, because it seems that MBT are just ready for whatever is thrown at them. First round, they got 2 free picks almost. Then the second round, they forced those picks to come out on their own. So clearly MBT knows his map really well. They've practiced it, and that's always a good thing to see when your practice pays off.
When you start to get the intricacies in the map up, and I mean, speaking of intricacies in the map, what about Detrian? Man, what a man!
I think I know who showed that, and I believe it is Nico in ANZ. You know, he was one of the he's the guy who you now know less for his pro league experience, but more for the fact that he breaks maps and he finds all these weird angles, weird vault locations. And I believe he got many retweets and many likes for when he exposed these angles on Villa and then later Outback.
Whooping max! Surveying.
Oh boy, I can't wait for Outback to get fully fitted out.
Hopefully it comes into the Pro League. I like the map. Initial impressions are good, and hopefully, you know, we'll see a bit of a shake-up.
Shake-ups would be nice. Speaking of shake-ups,
Legion is going to get spotted out both by the drone and by Jackal Trap. Now there isn't any cover array. What are you doing? Surely you must have expected that. Now he's just going to keep taking the damage. He's prone, but Zezos is still going to take that headshot, loses a lot of his life, and Rebecca is going to get taken up, but Zezos doesn't care. He is on fire. He wants this first defensive round win.
Massive pick up there on the running on by Zesox, and to level up the numbers there with such a low amount of HP, keeping those numbers up is crucial here. As we do see the attackers begin to shape up and group up upstairs here. The hacker will be coming in, the Asian friend. Gonna get all the info required.
Honestly, this is great because MBT works well when they have the information, at least on this map. And a bit of that defensive poorness on Oregon was because they didn't have the information, it would seem. Now they have the sledge alive this time around. They're gonna get that castle barricade open very easily without putting themselves in harm's way. But they still have to deal with Detrian, and that's what the flank drones are going to be for, I assume. They have to make the assumption that he's the pulse, he's going to be playing downstairs, ready with the C4. Now, they might get one C4 right now, but no, it's just going to be a simple blue mine that's going to be shot out. Civil is going to take down Xando. Detrian is going to take down Civil, unfortunately. That is the hack. The diffuser drop, and Detrian is going to clean up SMZ as... Whoa, Zezos gets his third kill of the round.
First round on the board there for Ferox as well. Finally getting those trades, and that was 100% off the back of Zesox there. Good individual play. And I mean, what I said before in the pre-game show was team play is rewarded well on Villa, and we're not seeing too much of that from Ferox at the moment. That individual round there just shows that you can still take those types of rounds and get momentum off the back of them, but they're not. You can't win matches just like that alone. We need to see something as a wholehearted strategy for them right now, because I'm seeing lots of individual plays, but nothing for the greater picture.
Yeah, that's right. At the same time, you know, MBT impetus, if they can get regularly defeated by these individual plays while playing as a team, then that's a bit of a cause for concern. But, you know, they are leading 3-1. They have looked very good so far. Even on that round, they could have almost had it. Let's see what they can do this time, attacking onto Aviator and Games. Usually the default bomb site on this map. Interesting to see that Ferox much prefers Statuary and Trophy. But both these sites are great, and you have to come to one of them anyway once you win the other. If you win the other.
That is true. We certainly are both the preferred site zone. We don't want to give up. Okay, coming in once again. It's been Ferox picking him up so far. MBT haven't been too keen on him just yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how Revek now factors in. The Kaid trick we saw come out just in the previous map, it was from Impetus actually against the Hibana on the Laundry Hatch. Yes. Let's see whether they can get any of the Kaid tricking off, and it works a lot better against the Thermite exothermic charge. So Revek can deal a lot of damage to this push without even getting killed.
Getting very aggressive in already. The northern end of the building. Asian friend though, being aware of the possibility of those roamers again as Detrian finds the opener. Pogga falls, the C4 charge doing what it does best. She's just punishing individual players. Detrian spots another. Down below, but the window opens up. Japan guys ready for that one, and Detrian's caught off guard by that.
That was really unfortunate. He played very, very carelessly, exposing himself to window, trying to get more information upstairs, not really having that spatial awareness. And now, let's see whether Kai tricking is going to be a thing. No. Yes, it is! Well, I didn't see Ravek throw it out, but it has clearly worked just fine. And now, there's only one more exothermic charge that he has available. There is no Thatcher on attack.
Special charge.
And there we go. This is gonna be... Oh! Well, Ravek is gonna get down, and the frag grenade has cleared out the Kai charge as well. But Array and Zezos, they've traded operators right now, but they're still getting the frags just the same.
NBT, their shape's been really awkward these last 2 rounds, and you can really tell by that on the scoreboard and just their presence right now across the map. Stuck in a 2 versus 4 now. They have to work their way up into aviation. Trying to get down below, taking damage up.
It was a good frag from Japan best guy. Let's see the second one!
Oh.
Oh, dearie me. I mean, he is technically 2 for 2 with the frag grenades that connected with the body. He got 1 kill. Unfortunately, that 1 kill was himself.
Detrian in these technicalities. Technically, he got a 4K. Technically, he gets a kill with the frag. SMZ finds an opener at the very least, but with 10 seconds left, tagged up there by the Legion. Surely won't find their way into this one. Gets tagged down just a wee bit there, but not enough time to go for the plant. And a clean round by Ferox as they get their second, and they just look pressured now. Like, it's been a change in the pacing in Ferox, where they're much slower in the early round, and they're starting to take the fights. Like, they're retaking map control in the mid round, and that's made MBT very uncomfortable.
Indeed. Now, this is kind of the same thing that we saw in Oregon. Obviously, it was quicker for Ferox to respond there, but it kind of makes sense. They took a little more time given that this is MBT's preferred map pick. But now that they really have got a handle, alright, these guys are attacking this way, alright, these guys are making these pushes with these operators, we know exactly what to do.
Starting to get a read for that is true, and we could see another split half here, especially with this setup now. They've been going for the, like I said, they're going for those mid-round sort of map control retake type things where they're moving forward in the late round, looking for information and taking fights to the attackers, and they begin lurking around and finding that late round information more towards the bomb sites. And so going in with Xando here on the pulse and Detrian getting on that Kavira, this could be very dangerous for MBT.
Indeed. Now Detrian finally bringing out the Caveira. As you said, he swapped it out for the Pulse on the first round, Xando on the Pulse. So once again, that we mentioned this in the first map, the flexibility that Ferox is displaying, and only one other team in Southeast Asia displays that kind of flexibility, I would say, and that is Airwolf. Not so successful recently, but it's definitely the hallmark of a good team. The top team, Xavier Esports, not as flexible, but then, you know, each of them is so good on their roles, on their operators, that you don't really need that flexibility just yet.
Detrian getting that lurking position early as Xando finds information up above. Has to be patient. He knows they're on that balcony up above him. Chance for a run out. Could be a waste there, that castle barricade. As they begin shaping up as a unit upstairs into the bedroom.
A bit of a risky play from SMZ here. If Array, well, it's Civil losing his life, but I was just about to say, if Array or Zezos decide to get aggressive, could very well end up in disaster. It's ended up in disaster for the Thermite. Needs to be very, very careful. They are kind of losing a bit of that cohesiveness that was looking so strong in the first 3 rounds. Array's gonna get a fight with Pogga. He's gonna lose it, unfortunately for him and Ferox Esports. Xavier, not Xavier. Jackal not taking too much damage there in that engagement. The Asian friend, well, he is just placing his air jabs. SMZ collects Zezos here. So two danger men taken out on Ferox's side.
Now feeling uncomfortable.
Surveying.
Trying to get the information. Knows they're up above. Sees the split coming in. Zando. They pick this frag up. The round gets turned on its head. Ferox can look to shape for that third round once again. This probably comes in from above. Just sees if he can find any information on the whereabouts here of Zando or his buddies in the back line as they do begin to drop their way in towards the site. Zando's ready for this fight though, and he's actually going to get aggressive. He's pushing in.
No.
Pogger goes for the scan. He gets punished for that one as Zando finds that opener, and now 3-on-3. Less than 40 seconds to go. They try to come through as the interrogation attempt's made, but Japan go with the double kill. Now leaves Revek in the 1-on-2 as the castle.
25 seconds for him left to go. The diffuser is with SMZ, and he's gonna get the final frag as well. Japan best guy just coming in, being a nuisance, not allowing Revek to put his focus towards the more dangerous player. And that is it. Working well again, MBT Impetus, and winning this half 4 rounds to 2. Now they get to defend. And well, we talked about this being a stronger defensive line. Oh, hey. Okay, that's right.
It almost happened again.
Oi.
Oh, I'm getting flashbacks to last week. Oh no.
Well, Civil Pogger, the Asian friend, Japan best guy, SMZ, and the Asian friend, he's gonna swap over to the Clash, and Array's gonna swap over to the Monty. So that's gonna be an interesting battle to see.
Yes, coming onto the Monty, and you know, we did cast Ferox playing Villa in the Invitational qualifiers together, and it was, I do believe it was Array who was running absolutely amok with Monty.
Yeah, Array and Luna Metal.
And also, yeah, exactly right, yeah. He can be such a dangerous operator in Villa when he comes. When you see that Monty come running at you in aviation, I mean, you should be glad you're wearing brown pants.
Yeah, well, wise words from Mr. Deadpool. Now, Japan, this guy is going to be going for the same Valkyrie camera that he punished. Oh no, he lost it, threw it too far out, got it destroyed. He's not going to make the run out, thankfully. You know, he got. Oh, whoa, is that? Oh, okay, he's not in. I thought he was in. I was like, how do you get in so quickly? And if so, is he ready for it? And yeah, here we go, shield versus shield. Oh, this is, but obviously, the Asian friend is at a lot more of a disadvantage right there, and Zazos is gonna collect Pogger to dock off the board. That passive roam that he was trying on Oregon. Tries it again, I assume. Not worked out so well. Array is losing a fair bit of HP right now, but Zezos is just killing everyone except here. And, well, Japan best guy is going to take down Detrian. Very, very interesting to see how this battle is going to play out. Both Array and Light Friend, they can't do much against each other except, you know, Light Friend can slow Monty down further and do marginal amount of damage.
Nitro cell set.
Well, that's what we see. We shoot ops do best, which is just create space for your side. Look at how quickly they found their way in towards the B bomb site already, and it's forcing rotations. My Asian friend still playing nearby in the master bedroom, off the site, worried of a flank as Zesox will continue to do more damage, popping open that side entrance, and they'll begin. They're pushing in towards A.
They're planting the diffuser. What on earth is happening? Now the smoke grenades and everything obscure a lot of stuff. And oh no, you can't turn your back to the planter. Come on. But thankfully for them, the biggest thorn on the side, the Monty in a post-plant scenario is gone. Zando is holding a great angle though, And this is an angle we've seen multiple players in multiple regions win from. Zando is going to take 50 HP worth of damage, and SMZ predicts it just right. Either it was a pre-fire or just a very, very good information collection. It just puts them 5-2 up. It's a 3-round lead for MBT Impetus.
That play had to be made there. Japan guy had less than 10 HP on that retake. Flawless pre-fight. I think that had to be it, right? And as you said, that's an angle we've seen many players hold over the course of many leagues and regions and matches. And it's a well-known position to play in Villa. So having that pre-fire come across, just good game awareness.
Indeed. And you know, sometimes some players push play on the other side behind the bomb. Both very strong positions, but obviously it is moot if you're just gonna get pre-fired anyway. So great game sense from both players there on the retake. Array is not gonna bother with the Montaigne anymore. The Asian friend though, he's gonna persist with the clash, and well, why not? You won the round and you really have the baby for Mars at hand as well. Such a strong weapon Colette has now. You can just treat her as a one-time scope 3 armor defender with a shield on the back, even if you don't want to use it.
Plus, you get impact, or barbed wire. She's got a very strong kit. Underutilized at the moment, I feel like, in a lot of leagues.
Whoa, okay. This is interesting. Opening up Vault. It's a very ballsy move. Very, very ballsy.
Oh, they're playing off site. I love this. I really like this from MBT. They're going for the big kahuna move. A wide maneuver out towards the back of Vault.
It's going to be interesting to see, because opening up Vault, you know, the whole reason attacks want to get it open is because it offers some fantastic sightlines in. So
what they're doing here with this one is they're playing more of a retake-based setup, so it's allowing them to be able to come back in when they find their lines.
Interesting that they'll go for a retake setup, or it could just be that they want to contest those, contest that angle. You know, you don't get this open very often, and there we go. Pog is going to take those Zezos. That's far off sight though, but the idea was still there, what I was talking about, that once you have these guys peak 90, as you usually do, you don't really need to drone it every time, because, you know, who opens up Vault? And then you have someone holding that angle, and that's one player that was lost. And jump out coming out. Unfortunately for him, he looked the wrong way. Revek is able to turn back and put a CZ to the head. And woo, we are definitely going to see the Asian friend die here, and that is it. Detrian taking him down very easily. You can't get up close with the clash. You can't play her like other shields.
I think that's why, as I said, she's not getting played as much as I feel like she deserves to be played at the moment. Just because the way that she plays is so different to so many other operators in the game, and you have to have a very, very strong sense of map awareness to keep your wits about you going forward. Speaking of going forward as well.
Oh, there's no one peeking Vault. Oh, it's been reinforced. Okay. I thought.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know anymore, dude.
They thought better of it. I think, you know, they realized we don't have an ACOG to hold this long angle, hold the tight angle. I think it's wise, but let's see what they can do. Civil has been taken down, and the shotgun assistance is gonna come out. Japan best guy takes a lot of shots from the back though. He's gonna go prone, and Detrian's gonna finish off Civil. Blasted in the head by Detrian as well. This Japan best guy. SMZ, he's just getting pushed everywhere right now. And oh, too far away for the knife. He is gonna back away and put a few bullets into his body. Third round on the board for Ferox Esports, and they need to avoid losing at least 2 of the next few ones to have a chance of winning this.
Yeah, well, that's keeping the dream alive for the time being there. And I guess we missed an opportunity there to see that vault opened up. I was really excited to actually see what MBT were going to do. I thought they were going to pull out something a bit innovative for us, but we were let down just a wee bit, I guess. But Detri in there, finding the last couple of frags once again for his side. Leading the way is the Asian friend. Going into the frost. Now, this is something different.
I like this.
No.
Oh, no. Oh man. Asian friend, I liked you, you know, I was liking that, and then you have to go break our hearts.
I thought we could be friends.
Yeah, man. I mean, his name is the Asian friend. Come on. Like, well, I guess I'll be friends with Civil in that case. Well, round number 9.
I think it's the safer call. That's the safer call.
Round number 9. Yeah, Civil's a nice support. You know, he does what you want to do, and he's a planter, the thermite, all the thankless roles. But yeah, round number 9, 5-3 advantage for MBT Impetus. They're going to defend Kitchen.
New feed active.
And it's a sight that we saw MBT take Ferox absolutely apart on. It was a very, very nice attack that they had.
Camera feed up and running.
So now it'll be their turn to turn the tables around. Have a meal. Have a seat in the kitchen. Let's see what they've cooked up for us in this round. They're going to find that information at the very least there on the IQ. And Moses is a bit more upstairs now.
Diamond friend, I think he's just going to play, as I said, the second way of playing Clash. He used that shield just as like back protection, and then just go to town with that baby FAMAS. Honestly, its damage profile is really almost identical to the FAMAS ever since it was buffed to full automatic.
I remember when it was double burst fire, and I still loved it. I thought it was so tight, it was so clean.
I still prefer the pistol, but you know, to each their own.
For sure.
Ray taking his sister's Elamines in the face, delaying him just a bit, but they are making good time right now, and Clash has taken fair few hits. She needs to back away, or she needs support right away. But no, I told you, the FAMAS is there. Detrian gets taken down, IQ off the board, Pogga gets one more, holding this very, very soft angle. Surprising, the attackers taking a lot of health away from Xando as well. Xando not being aggressive as he should have been. Pogga's gonna take down one more. SMZ takes down Revek. It's all up to Xando. Finally finishes off Pogga, and if the previous damage profile was still active, he would have been killed by the Vault, but SMZ is gonna get his second, and he's gonna go down anyway.
And that's now match point in favour of MBT, and I guess they've proven us that they certainly are well prepared for Villa. Their defense is a lot more sound, which is a lot better. I'm really loving this type of play from Asian friend on the Clash. You're right. It's got that double-edged sword type of playstyle where you can play it more generically, using your shield, delaying attack, teaming up with your teammates, and then you can also use that such a strong automatic pistol. And the baby FAMAS, as you've affectionately referred to it as, Japan guy.
Nope. Oh my god.
Oh, stop teasing me, bro.
It's an elite as well. I mean, like, you know, we saw Luna Metal yesterday night. He went on that final round as the Hibana elite just to get the animation out. He didn't need a Hibana. He was like, yep, that is a nice animation. Civil unfortunately castling off Japan best guy a little too early.
Reinforce the wall!
Well, it's gonna be full reinforcement here from MBT Impetus. We saw Ferox try somewhat of a radical strategy, put a mirror window there, only reinforce 2 panels, make up that shortfall in reinforcements by putting a shield, but then you lose a C4, lose that plant denial. So, well, I don't know. I think MBT's defensive hold is a lot stronger, and we might just see this game end right here.
there's a lot of potential for that now, but we do actually see Vivek now getting on the counter train here, picking up the Capital. The Asian friend has been that much of a nuisance on the defense that he's been warranted to see him come through. And I mean, on a map like Villa, Capital certainly has his uses as well, especially coming into the bomb sites. Is with the which one? The games room. Sorry, I lost my word stream out there. Getting in towards the vault, clearing out that tight space there.
Versus Japan best guy. He definitely hears Japan best guy. He's gonna get the frag. Oh no! Japan best guy ducks just in time. Doesn't even take any damage. And that's a dangerous area for the Clash to be in because you can get just bombarded by Zofia, Capital, and frag grenades. They have 2 of those 3, but the first kill has gone in favor of MBT. Detri and the Zofia is off the board. And there we go. The fire arrows coming out and really hurting the Asian friend. If only they'd had the concussion grenades. But, you know, Zando is going to take down the Asian friend nonetheless. And Array trades with Japan best guy as he takes down Hog.
Yeah, 3v3 now, and a minute and a half to go. Now, these attackers are starting to pin some more around this vault area. They haven't quite found their way in towards the site. As Japan Kai coming up from the pulses. He still has his C4. That's huge. That's going to be the frag going his way. Zando drops a 3v2, and just over a minute to go. Zeslox and Lubeck having to take this fight there, and that's such a good angle there for Japan Guy. He can almost clean this one up, but no, Zeslox, he finds that frag. The L85 gang still riding strong now as he tries to cross into B. Just picking the angle, gets the information at the very least as the Goos are alive and kicking, and no one needs to peeky. They should group up now. It's a 2 versus 1. Play off the back of each other.
What is that frag? That is just frag of desperation, and he's gonna be faced by the Legion right there and then, and that's gonna end things off. SMZ headshots him, and that is going to be map number 2. Villa going in favor of MBT.
A much better turnaround from them on that one. I think there was that defense was rock solid, and I have to give full credit to them. I wasn't believing in them fully after that first matchup, but maps obviously play a part in how you play in your setups. And just look at Japan Guy there, 13 frags, SMZ and Pogga both up there. Huge numbers from them, but a massive congratulations there to the man himself, thy Asian friend. He certainly dictated that defense for them.
So, both teams win a map each, and really kind of proving that they are equal to each other. 7-3 on Oregon in favor of Ferox Esports, and then 7-3 on Villa in favor of MBT Impetus Gaming. So, MBT will be happy with this, that they have been able to take one map off of Ferox, their map, but still a map. And especially after they got knocked out by Adamas Gaming in the run-up to the Southeast Asian LAN event that's upcoming next week, the Wrecked Nation. Do watch that if you can on the 30th and 31st of March. It's going to be really, really fun to watch, I believe.
Should be a banger. Should be a good one to catch. Top teams in the region getting together. It's always nice to see.
Indeed. So, Aerowolf is in attendance over there. Adamas is joining them. To the 2 Singaporean teams coming out strong. And then they're going to be joined by others in a double elimination bracket. But that is not the Pro League. And tonight we were casting the Pro League, and it was a really good game, don't you think, Maddie B? What would you say for each team after tonight?
With the way that they currently reside this season, they can't get promoted, they can't get relegated, they can't make that the LAN finals. It was a learning experience for both sides, and they split the maps 1-1, exact same scoreline. They won their map picks as well, so I mean, they're solid on their own maps. They can learn how to play those other maps, so it's going to be a long off season for them. They'll have a good chance to grind, and of course playing any events in between. It'll be great to see, but coming into next week, it's just got me licking my lips, mate.
Alright, okay, so let's talk about next week, the final day of the Southeast Asian Pro League. Well, the final day of all the APAC sub-regions. So, Korea and ANZ, they're pretty much done and dusted, aside from seeding. In Korea, you have Ageless Blue and Manchester FPS qualifying for the APAC LAN. In ANZ, you have Fnatic confirmed after Oddity drew both their maps tonight. So Fnatic confirmed with August currently in the lead. They're going to be playing each other for seeding, essentially. But in Japan, it's a little bit more dicey. You have the top 4 teams all in with a shout of making it to the APAC LAN. So that's Norarengo, FAV Gaming, Cyclops, Athlete Gaming, and Sengoku Gaming Ecstasy. But coming back to Southeast Asia, well, what other matches do we have, Matty?
Oh boy, mate. We have the heavyweights going toe-to-toe next week. We have, of course, Aerowolf. They'll be clashing heads there, trying to get their final spot secured for the finals up against Xavier, who have yet to drop a map this season, and I think the most rounds anyone's actually scored against them this season is 3, which was by Therox. So it's going to be rough for them at the very least, and they need to get points on the board. They need to get maps in their favour, because Script, they're taking on Generic, and although Generic haven't been world beaters this season, they showed us another side of them last week up against Ferox. They can have a massive factor in dictating who makes it to the APAC LAN.
Indeed. So let's lay out the scenarios right now, okay? If Aerowolf loses 0-2 against Xavier, it's over. They're currently tied on points with Script, but Script are ahead on head-to-head after Script beat them 2-0 last week. If Script wins 2-0, then it doesn't matter what the result is between Aerowolf and Xavier. Script are going through whatever happens. If those two scenarios, those boundary conditions, so to speak, don't happen, then Aerowolf needs to simply outscore Script against Generic. It's not impossible. It's really not impossible for them to do it. Suppose, Script wins one map and draws another. They will need to 2-0 Xavier, but that's going to be very, very hard. They have never ever been able to 2-0 Xavier. They've always either won 2-1 or lost 1-2. So, or lost 2-0.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And I mean, I think you said this to me last week, but when was the last time Aerowolf missed APAC finals?
Never in their entire life have they missed. Even the one that they missed technically, which was the 6 invitational qualifiers, they managed to get there because Xavier couldn't get the visas in time. Hopefully they can get the visas in time for these.
Surely they haven't
finals.
sorted this time.
They have to be. I mean, because they were pretty much qualified last week already. So hopefully Xavier makes it there, and it's going to be very interesting to see who out of Script and Aerowolf is going to be making it. Very, very tight situations, and you can see all the permutations. Don't mean to plug, but I've laid it out all very nicely with a points table on my Twitter. So just at Infianewok. Wink, wink. But yeah, and honestly, it's a lot better because hard to imagine it all in your head. I had to write it down and look at the points table. I'm like, yeah, that seems right. Hard, but not impossible. And well, one of my favorite people right now in the world has said mountains are there to be climbed, aren't they?
That is very, very true, my friend. And it's going to be a mountain for anyone to climb. It's still anyone's game. It's going to be a big week next week.
Indeed. So tune in on Wednesday the 27th of March, 7 p.m, same time as tonight. Last and final play day of the Southeast Asian Pro League. It has been a pleasure casting this game with you. I have been Infianewok, and with me, Matty B.
Cheers, guys.
Good night.